quiet moments before the world wakes up. There's a place where pain meets peace, where every breath feels like a prayer and grief stands still. We carry the weight of what was and search for meaning in the smallest things. And sometimes all it takes is one moment to remind us we're still here, still healing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Grief Let's Talk About It podcast. You guys know who it is. This is Tony Lynch. And yes, I am the host of this podcast, and we are your number one podcast bringing you stories around death, dying, and grief with some amazing people out here doing some amazing things, changing people's lives one heartbeat at a time. Now, before I bring on my next guest, I would like to say if you are tuning in anywhere other than Facebook, head on over to that YouTube channel. Jesus Christ, it's 2026 and I'm already started off this way. Head on over to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified every time we drop a new episode. And most importantly, since this is a live stream, you can put your questions and have them answered in the comments. Okay. So without further ado, and before I get further tongue-tied, guys, Happy New Year, and please help me welcome my next guest, Miss Angela, to the show once again. Hi, Angela. How we doing, friend?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Tony, for inviting me to be a guest on your podcast. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, you've already been up here one time before, and so much has gone on since the last time that we've talked, right? And we had a chance to catch up on a little bit of that and everything. And you're out here doing some amazing things. Now, before we get started, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience. So tell the audience who you are, where you're from, and about the work that you do.
My name is Angela Alexandra. I was born and raised in cold, right now, St. Louis, Missouri. That's why I don't live there anymore.
Understood. Understood, you know.
I live in southern sunny California. So yes, I'm the seventh of 8 children. I have a ministry titled Miracles in Action, turning pain into power and grief into peace, trusting God through your storms. And I'm excited to be here to share this amazing testimony that God has allowed me to share. Even when I didn't want to.
Hey, normally that's how it goes. No one wakes up one day and just goes, you know what, today I think I want to go through some real horrible stuff. Right. We do not wake up like that. I know most people that may not understand. They see the things that we do, right? And most of these people are wondering, you know, how did we get here? What is that strength that we have, right? How did you become so knowledgeable? And I tell everybody, look, unless you really want to know or have that that experience, let's not wish that on yourself, okay? No. Because some of it, as I learned a long time ago, and it's from someone that today I don't even talk to. When our son passed away, she said, you know, there's some grief out here that will kill you.
Yes.
And I never understood that until I experienced the grief on that level. And I was just like, wow. So let's touch a little bit about your journey of how you got here and what made Angela who she is today.
Wow. Well, I was in Japan on military duty. I'm retired Air Force now. And and I was working with a group of people, and Lieutenant Mavechi came up to me and says, Angela, I need to speak with you. Now, this was April Fool's weekend, so I just thought it was another joke. And so we just walking and talking about nothing. We end up at the door of the small office, and inside was a man who was introduced as a priest and another lady from our unit. And the priest began nervously shaking, holding this paperwork from the Red Cross. He says, Angela, your family has been in a car accident. And from the looks on their faces, I just knew this was no April Fool's joke.
Wow.
The day before, my husband and 4 children in California was driving down the highway. A car cut them off. Our truck hit the center divider, and upon impact, they were all knocked unconscious. And then our truck went backwards across that highway and fell 25 feet below and landed upside down on top of 2 other parked vehicles with people inside those cars. Wow. Praise God, our car fell on their engine and not the roof. So they were extremely shaken up, but they were okay. Now I'm back in Japan. And the firefighters, the ambulance, with their jaws of life, the paramedics, they all came to the site and they saw a father and 4 children. And my daughter Angela, who was 11 years old at the time, she was in and out of consciousness. And the police officer said, "Where's your mother? Where's your mother?" Well, she looked at the officer all dazed and said, "My mother's in Japan," right? And the officer just thought she hit her head way too hard and was delirious. Didn't believe a single word she said, right?
He didn't understand. He didn't understand.
I know, right? Just fell 25 feet off the highway. You're talking about your mama's in Japan. So I
Mhm.
think you're a little, not all the way here. And so they didn't believe her. So they retrieved my address from my husband's driver's license and came to my home.
Mhm.
Now, most people think about me being on the other side of the world was the worst place possible. But you know what, Tony? I needed to be that far away in order to hear God's voice. Because if I
Mhm.
was home, I would have run somewhere. But in Japan, I had no choice but to be still and know that God is still God. And back in Japan, the priest, nervously holding paperwork, he says, "Your husband, Suri, he's in the hospital, but he's okay. Your daughter, Angela, she's in the hospital, but she's okay. Your daughter, Angelina, she's in the hospital, but she's okay. But your 2 8-year-old sons, Maurice and Reggie, they didn't make it." And instantly, as if no one else was in that room but God and me, I recalled a prayer my children said before going to bed. "Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take." And I don't know. Maybe because I need to hear from my son so badly, I felt right here in my heart as if I heard them say, "No, mommy, that priest is wrong. We prayed the Lord our soul to take. We did make it. We're here with Jesus." I'm telling you, God was sending your sister so much love and so much peace and so much warmth. There was no room for pain. The people in the room were watching and waiting for my world to turn upside down, but instead they witnessed my world still in alignment with the one we call our Heavenly Father, our Prince
Mhm.
of Peace, our Comforter, and our Provider, the Almighty God. And Tony, let me tell you something. This is a feeling I still can't, they said that the piece of your understanding that you don't even know how to explain. I can't even explain in words the peace that I felt. And now, no, let's tell you something. The day before, like not the day before, but like probably like a month before, I was with some friends and some girlfriends, and we were just saying, "What would you do if something happened to your children?" And I
Mhm.
remember saying, "I would go crazy. Hook up the IV, put me on the ward, you go to live your life, and I'm gone." And never thinking that it was ever going to happen. And when it did, I couldn't believe that I didn't go crazy. Why didn't I go crazy? As self predicted. And it's only because the renewal of my mind. And I had it. Now, don't get it wrong. My heart hurt. My heart was broke. Okay. People tend to think, oh, because I had peace doesn't mean I didn't have pain.
Mhm.
Okay. It's that God gave me a glimpse of my future. And if God allowed me to go down that road of unpeacefulness, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Right.
Because
Right.
when I spiraled down, I would have took my whole family with me. That survived. My husband and 2 girls who survived, I would have took them with me, and we would have just been one messed up that nobody ever heard of.
No, but I don't think people really understand that though, right? And I commend you on your faith because I wasn't. I totally was so angry
Yes,
when it happened to me, right? Because the sacrifices that I had made to become the father and the man that I needed to be, right?
right.
The whole turnaround, the relationship that I felt that I had with the creator, you
Mm,
know, he was look, the creator was my guiding light. He was
Right.
my everything. He was everything that made me who I was in order to be the father and the man that I needed to be, because
Right.
I didn't have any positive role models around me. Now, do not get me wrong. I had other men around me,
Mm-hmm.
but just because you got other men around you, don't
Oh,
mean that they're the role models that you need. Just like having a good women around you doesn't mean that that's the right role model for you or anything like
definitely.
that, right?
Definitely.
And so, I'm a loner by nature anyway,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm bullheaded and stubborn. All right.
Well,
So when it comes down to
I'm a
looking at these other men, I'm looking at what they're doing and I'm listening to what they're saying and I'm thinking to myself like, I'm not following. No,
mm-hmm.
you got me all messed up. No, we're not going to do that, right? And so I had no one to turn to.
Mm-hmm.
I had no one to turn to.
Right.
So I turned to the creator. I said, look, I don't know what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
but I know who I need to be.
Come on.
And I know I can't be the person that my son needs me to be the way that I am.
Right.
So I'm gonna need some help. I'm gonna need some help. So, and I knew because of the things I had read and what I had felt in the relationship that I had built with him, or the creator at the time. Some people may say her or him, so I want to be
Right.
respectful of everyone in that matter, right? And it doesn't matter. Look, it doesn't matter to me as long as you got somebody guiding you in the right
Exactly.
direction, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, um, and that was my thing. So when my son passed away, I was so angry because I was going, you know what? I thought you said that. I thought you said this was my time to be a father to prove to the world that I'm not a bad man, that I'm not the monster that they made me out to be because I had to make some choices in this world. Like
Mm-hmm.
you said that you was going to help me, right? Um, and I spiraled.
Mm-hmm.
I spiraled, and the creator always every time I turn around I was like, I don't want to talk to you right now.
Right.
I don't
Right.
want to talk to you right now. But no, because I thought we was good,
Right.
right?
We're far from
And
good.
yeah, we was far from good, and I took it so personal. I was like, I thought we was good. We talked all the time. I obeyed everything that you had for me. I was angry, girl. I was so angry. And then when I wanted to try to pursue it again, my mother passes away.
Double.
Yeah, my mother passes away, and I was going. So I did all of this just to be an orphan in the world.
Mm.
Like, you've taken all of my family away from me.
Right. I'm already a
No,
loner. Now my
right?
family's gone.
Yeah. Like at least I could pick up the phone and call my mom and my dad, or I can check in on my brother, or what I'm saying. I was able to come home to my son or
Mm.
pick him up from school. I had all these things. I was like, and now this is what I was like. Okay, cool, cool.
So
I was
like
like,
that.
you ain't got to worry about. Yeah, I was like, you ain't got to worry about me no more. You ain't got to worry about me no more. And
Good.
then, yeah, girl, and then Tony went on one of those things where I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna show you that I'm stronger than this.
Mm-hmm.
And every decision I made from that point on cost me everything.
Wow.
Cost me everything. It cost me my home, my company. It cost me everything. I had left the state, came back with nothing, and I had to start all over. And I was just going, okay, I'm still determined not to let this whoop me, right? You ain't whooping
Right.
me. I'm Tony. Yeah, 9 months later, I got whooped really bad. I was already going down the drain, but at 9 months later, I was just like, hmm, you know what? Either let me go or let me finish it.
Right. Right.
I'm not trying to do nothing else. Like this is crazy. Let me go, and I disappear. You ain't never got to worry about me ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Will you allow me to finish this? Isn't that? And I said, matter of fact, I don't even need your permission. If one thing that I can do is I can control my own life. You don't get to control this. And I tell you what, I'm
God said,
glad
okay.
that yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I'm so glad that it happened that way
Mm.
because of the simple fact of I wouldn't be here today, right?
Right.
And I say that to ask this question: Do in this path, of growing and evolving into the person that you are, the individual, the human being, right? Do you feel that your path was somehow sculpted to put you in position to do what you are? Because you got all your books behind you too, and we'll talk about that too. We're talking because like you did some kids books and a few other things, and I want to make sure that people know where to find these because
Right,
it's such a huge gift to be able to consult children, but also to put something out there because you know how it appeals to their mind,
right, right.
right?
Yeah.
And so what do you feel about your path that you've been on, and what sort of sacrifices and struggles that you had to endure in order to rebuild not only your mindset but your heart and your spirit?
Oh my goodness. And see, I'm the lone, I'm the quiet type as well. I mean, between me and my husband, when we walk into a room, he was a loud person, party's over here, and I was always the quiet.
Yeah.
I was always the quiet person. So when God asked me to do what he asked me to do, I was like, oh no. And so what he asked me to do was to share this amazing testimony. And so I shared with you how my sons passed. And so the next day, I was in Japan. I was on the flight home to Los Angeles. And about an hour into that flight, I almost sat straight up in my seat when I remembered this letter my son Maurice wrote about a month before the car crash. He was in the third grade, 8 years old, had a math test, finished early, already got his A. So he was sitting there waiting for his classmates to complete their test. And in that quiet time, he wrote this letter to me and my husband. And he
Mm.
ran in the house from school that afternoon. He shouted, Mommy, Mommy, Daddy, Dad, I wrote your letter. I wrote your letter. I said, what do you mean you wrote us a letter, little boy? Where you going? Right? And
I
he
can dig it.
and he says, nowhere, Mommy. I just love you. I said, okay. I said, baby, get the checkbook because whatever brother wants, the brother can have two.
He can have two of them.
At the foot of our bed, and we read his letter aloud. And Tony, he wrote 3 pages, not only expressing that he loved us, but explaining why he loved us. And at the end of all 3 pages, he wrote the words bye bye, BY-BY, not BYE, not BUY, bye and bye, as if we'll see each other again.
Right.
And I mean, and that letter meant more to me than any amount of money he could have willed. Because a lot of times after someone passed, you go back and it's like, did he love me? Was he happy? Was I a good parent? All these questions. And his letter explained and left no words unsaid. I didn't have a doubt that he loved us and we loved him. And because a lot of people, they stay in their grief because they can't go back and answer those questions.
Very true.
Can't go
Very
back and make the last conversation they had. They can't go back and make it right again, and so they remain in their grief. And so
Mhm.
I'm so glad that that wasn't this situation. So I was the Thursday before their double memorial service. I was praying in my kitchen, and I said, "Dear God, thank you so much for Maurice's letter. It's truly the reason I can stand right here with my mind still intact. But I
Yeah.
need to know that Reggie was also at peace, God. I need to know that he was also visited. I just need to know that both of my sons are okay."
Mhm.
And God placed one word on my heart. He told me to search. I said, search. Search for what? At this point in time, my husband is still in the hospital, and my girls were home, and my
Mhm.
house was filled with friends and family near and far because by my children were in the second, third, fourth, and fifth grade. And so when their classmates came to share their condolences, they couldn't come by themselves because they were so little. So they bring their parents and their siblings and just the whole neighborhood. And there was so many people in my house, I couldn't even look downstairs. So I went upstairs to my son's bedrooms. I started going through the books on the shelves, the clothes in the closets. I flipped the mattress. As soon as I did that, my cousin, that one. She said, "What are you doing?" I mean, I had that room was torn apart. And she said, "Oh,
Mm.
don't worry about it. You don't have to explain." She said, "I would have went crazy in Japan. You good with me?" She said, "But what are you looking for?" Why did I say I don't know? Because
Ooh, Miss Angela, when you say stuff like that, people
right,
automatically assume the worst, right?
right.
Hmm.
She said, "Well, is it bigger than a bread box?" I said, "I don't know." She said, "I'll tell you what.
It's bigger than the bread box.
She said, she said, well, why not call 911? Those people with the white straight jackets, they can come over and help you find it.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. But like, oh,
It was, and I said, I'm fine. She said, I said, just give me like 10, 15 minutes. And she said, okay, I'm gonna step back, but guess what? I'm watching
I'm
you.
watching you. Girl,
Like,
I'm watching you.
I'm gonna step back, but I'm not closing the door because I'm watching you. And
Yeah.
okay. And I searched my house for over 3 hours, and I didn't find anything that I prayed, trusted, and believed for.
Mm.
And that night was open house in my children's elementary school. Only as God can create it. Only as God can orchestrate it. You talking about what you think your pastors paid for you. And so my girls, they needed some normalcy in their life. Their friends on the block was going to open house. So I said, you know what? We're going to go as well. And Tony, we left a house full of, after somebody passed, friends and family don't want to leave.
This is very true. This is very true. This is very true. Yeah.
And we left a house full of people. And we went to Angela's 5th grade class, Angelina's 4th grade class, and all their classmates wrote these hand condolences, tear-stained poems and letters, condolences, just sharing, pouring out their love to our family. And I don't know how, but somehow we made it out of their classes and we went to Maurice's class. And when I walked in, just hush just came across the room because the parents didn't know what to say to me and I didn't know what to say to them. But the children just circled around me because they wanted to tell me how much they loved and already missed their friend Maurice. And they couldn't comprehend somebody their own eye level passing away. It's one thing for an adult, but for a child, for their friend, their classmate, they just sit next to every day in class to all of a sudden be dead. That was incomprehensible for a lot of them. They could not comprehend that. And his sweater was still hanging on the back of his chair. You know, that little boy sweater. And they wouldn't let anybody touch his belongings. They were so protective of everything he had. And finally, and it was just a healing session for all of us involved. I don't even know how long I stayed in that room. I think they had to end up turning off the lights.
Understood. Definitely understood, you know.
Yeah, but I'm glad they did because I had to go to. After that, we went to Reggie's 2nd grade class, and when I went over there, Mrs. Blassie, his teacher, shared her condolences. She was very torn up about it. And finally, I said, "Well, what am I going to do for open house?" Now, 2 weeks before the car crash, Mrs. Blassie had given all of her 2nd graders all kind of arts and crafts supplies and said, "Do something for open house. Your parents are coming," with no other instructions. Well, Reggie cut out the shape of a house with closed doors. This is what it looked like, and it was stapled to the wall. I took it down off the wall. I opened it up, and it says, I don't know if you can see it here, but this is what it kind of looks like here.
Yeah.
And it says, "Mommy, I have a big backyard and a big house." I said, wait a minute, stop right there, little boy, because we actually have the smallest backyard on the block.
Look at you taking away his dreams.
I know, right? But then once I realized, I said, he's referring to his heavenly home, where he does have a big backyard and he does have a big house. And that reminds me of scripture, John 14:2-3, where Jesus said, "In my Father's house, there are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you so. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you," which he just said he would, "I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also." How awesome is it to know that Jesus himself will personally escort you to our Heavenly Father? This is the scripture that gives me great peace. This is the scripture that allows me to say, all is well with my soul, because I know Jesus personally escorted him to heaven. And then on the right-hand side of that home description, he cut out a tombstone. And on that tombstone, he wrote 3 powerful words. He wrote, "Dead men joy." Now, this is an 8-year-old little boy using the word men. But men is a pronoun for all of us because God is all inclusive. But God also wants to have a personal relationship with you. So beneath those words, he drew a picture of himself. And then on the opposite side of that home description, he cut out a second tombstone. On that one, he wrote the words "Dead Men Jams" and drew a picture of his brother Maurice. Because Maurice was
Mm.
always dancing, jamming around the house. And I'm telling you, I almost fell to my knees as I thank God and I praise God for being so good to me, because I had just prayed hours earlier that day. God, I need to know that Reggie's at peace. And this was what God gave me that very evening. Man.
I got a question, right?
Yeah.
Because this is something that as I was going through the grieving journey, right? Because at that moment it was a journey because I was so fresh into it, right? And this is before the anger really set in with me and the creator, right? Where I
Right.
was, uh, um, see, I
They,
had a dream. I had a dream about my son before he passed away.
okay.
And my son had came to me in my dream and said, "Daddy, I have to go soon."
Really?
And yeah, and it was just as real as I was talking to you right now. And I was going, "Where you going, Bubba?" He goes, "I gotta go," and everything. And I once he said it the second time, I realized. See, I remember just like it was yesterday. I started breaking down. I said, "Why do you have to go?"
Yes.
Then I stopped. He goes, "You're going to be okay, Daddy. Like everything is going to work out." I said, "I said, well, I said, son, I said, I really wish you would stay."
Right.
I really wish you would stay, but if you have to go, I understand. Now, these are things that I'm saying in my dream, and this is the one dream out of all everything, because we dream all the time, right? But I
Right. Don't
remember
remember
the
half
dream.
of them.
Yeah,
Now, Tony,
I
how old was
remember
your
the
son at the
dream.
time? How old was your son at the time he passed?
8.
Wow.
He was 8 years old.
Both of our sons, all okay, okay. My sons were 8 as
Yeah,
well.
and it was crazy, right? And so um, I told him, I said, you need to look after your mom. I don't think she would understand.
Right.
And he goes, I'll see you soon.
Mm.
And a week go by. I'm thinking it was just one of those dreams, right? The next following week go by. June 14th, he got sick. Well, June 13th, he was at my house. He was out playing with his friends. June 14th, he got sick. June 15th, he was real sick. June 16th, he passed away.
That was
And I
quick.
Yeah, and I watched him go through this transition. And for the life of us, we could not figure out what was wrong with him. Could not. It was like he hasn't gotten into anything. What is he? He has
Right.
not gotten into anything, right? Um, and so he ended up when he passed away. They said that it was from unknown causes, so the doctors don't even know how he passed away
Still.
and everything. Even to this day, his death is ruled unknown causes. Unknown causes, and I was like, wow, just out of the blue, you telling me that my son just passes away. This is what y'all want me to believe.
Right.
I
Healthy
was,
little
I was
boy.
like, yeah, healthy little boy, right? Because he was just eating cupcakes and playing and swimming and
Right.
things before,
Right. Being
just
little
on
boys
Saturday.
do. Right.
Yeah. So I guess I say that to say this because now when I dream about him, well, even shortly after he passed away, me and my son was real tight. We had a real tight bond.
Yes. Yes.
And it's as if the image that I had of my son when he passed away, because he was only 8 years old,
Right.
and the image that he started to come to me in my dreams, I watched him grow within a short amount of time from the little boy and to this huge man.
Yes.
And we
Yes.
always met at the same place on top of the mountain, looking across the cliff into the clouds. We was above the clouds and looking down. And then one day he came to me and his chest was above the clouds.
Mm.
And he looks at me. He goes, Daddy. He goes, just so you know, I hope you're prepared for what's coming. He goes, and I'm gonna be there with you every step of the way. And I'm looking at him because I'm on the cliff and he's bigger than me, and I'm looking at his eye. Not even his eyes. I'm looking in one eye because
Right.
I'm like, okay, Um, and to be honest with you, I was so taken back by it because I didn't know how to feel about that, right?
Right.
But I look at my path now and I go, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I say that to say this, right? Because I believe that our our souls are recycled back through with the information until we fulfill that purpose that we were actually designed to do. Right.
Mhm.
And when you do, you advance. Kids advance a lot faster than us because their purpose is to be there for us, right?
Right.
To be our comforting light, or, saying to be a blessing in so many ways that, because children are a gift.
Right. They
Children
are.
are a gift. Now, I say that to ask this: what are your thoughts on the spirit and everything? Because I do believe that, we come back just in different forms and different lives. And the reason why I say that is because I believe that some of my memories and the things that we've done have come back to us, and it comes back to a point to where it shines brighter and brighter every time.
Mm.
Like it's like a second go around. Like okay, we couldn't get it this time, so the next time, and it's always something that you're doing, and when you pass away, it's like, I could have did this, that, another. Okay, let's go back and see what you do, and you come back with just that, with that knowledge, and I want to say these are the people that we look at as millionaires and billionaires today. They're
Right.
very successful
Right.
individuals, right? Now, I could be wrong, but that's just a thought, because it's like this has to come from somewhere.
Right. Well, I definitely think that that we're spiritual beings just wrapped in flesh.
Hmm.
We having a human experience. And that when our body no longer serves us, when it's gone, our spirits are still here.
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
because I feel the presence of my sons, of my other family member. My mother passed,
Yeah.
in last year, 2024, and I still feel her presence. So just because her physical body is not here, she's still, and I believe they can see us.
Mm-hmm.
We just, I don't know. I can't
I
see
think
them.
they be messing with us. Okay, so here's something that always makes me laugh, right? Always makes me laugh because we talk about people, um, and we talk about the paranormal, right? Ghosts and things like that. And but the more and more we evolve, we realize that there's more to this world than
That we
just
can
what we
see.
see, right?
Mhm.
Right. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, what if the people who have passed on from here are living in another dimension? They just crossed over to another dimension, right? Parallel to us, right? This is funny. I love this because this makes me laugh all the time. I go, what if when they're opening up our cabinets and everything, we don't see them? So automatically we think paranormal activity, right?
Right?
What if they're doing the same thing? We're doing the same thing to them. We're in their cabinets. They're like, I don't know. What?
Right?
I wonder how many times they called the Ghostbusters, the Ghostbusters to come get us out there
just,
home.
just, just laughing at us, just like, oh my
Oh
gosh.
my God, right? Like, what is going on right now?
Yeah.
I said, I wonder what if, right? That would be funny because there'd never be a dull moment.
Yeah, because my sons, they were two practical jokers. I mean, they went home to heaven on April Fool's Day, the funniest day of the year. That's the day they went home to heaven, and,
Yeah.
and and I'm just sure they just having a good time. And don't first of all, don't want to come back here.
Mm-mm.
They
No,
said, oh
this,
no no
this,
no no, you
I'm
know
right
you
there
know
with you. I'm right there with you.
I see
This is
you.
gonna have to be the last time. That's why I do so much. Okay, I'm like, if I get it all out now, if
Right.
I get it all out now, that means that when I leave, I don't have to come back, right? Like let me just do everything right now. That way, when I go home and everything, we don't even have to talk about the things that I've
Don't
done.
have
I
like,
finish it. What I'm saying. Did I finish it? Shoot. That we. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
but you know what, Tony? Not only do we miss our sons, but we also miss the whole family tree that they would have had.
Right.
That whole branch that their wives, their children, that whole branch that I I miss the daughter-in-law that I never had because Maurice left early, and the
Hmm.
grandchildren I would have had because of him. And so especially like, what was really hard for me to go through, um as Maurice, as your son too, passing at 8 years old.
to watch his friends grow up around me. And I
Yeah.
would watch his friends that he would have graduated from high school with. He would have went to elementary school with. He, all those steps. And sometimes when his friends would come over and say hi, I couldn't even speak because of the lump in my throat.
Hmm.
And yes, I was happy for them, but I was so jealous that I wasn't, I didn't have my son.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand that one. You know, here's something that I never understood, right? My son taught me this the day of his tribute, the amount of people that showed up.
Yes.
Almost 300 people showed up to my
Oh,
son's tribute. Kids from his hip hop class, from his rock climbing class, from his school, from, all people that he was friends with,
right.
right?
Yeah.
And when they all showed up, it
Mm,
made me think about how awesome his life was
right. And
and
how
how
far and it's branched out beyond you.
right, because I did not know, right?
Right. Right. Right.
To this day, I still see two of his best friends.
Right.
I still see the young lady. She's 18 right now. The young lady that he would have married,
Mm.
and he met her in second grade.
He already knew, huh?
Like all of us knew. Oh, you know how? Okay, so you know how when you just when you're a parent, you're looking at these things, and you thinking to yourself like,
Right.
hold on, that looks very familiar, right? So and so when I first saw it, I noticed the way that he looked at her, and I
Oh,
noticed the way that she looked at him,
second
and
grade.
how they walked together. Right? They wasn't holding hands, but they should have been. They should have went on to start holding hands. So, and I'm picking him up from school, and he's always walking her to the car. Then he comes to her, Dad, I'm ready to go. Oh, that's my friend, such and such, right?
Right.
And this was funny because I started thinking to myself, like, I think he found her. I
Wow.
really do think he found his soulmate this early on in life. His mother at the time, she caught on to it too. And me and his mother don't get along. But for
Hmm.
her to even acknowledge it, she was
Right.
like,
Y'all on the same page.
yeah. She was like, are you saying the same thing I'm saying? I was like, yep, I sure am. She
And and
goes,
and the girl, she's probably saying, the one who got away,
well, I saw her not too long ago,
Hmm.
right? She's beautiful,
I bet she is.
freaking gorgeous, and smart as all get out.
Never forget your son.
Well, I thought they had forgot me, right? Because I've stayed away from a lot of things. Before I used to go by and check up on them and things like that, but then I realized that I can't be checking up on people when I'm not even well. And
Right.
my presence is hurting these young children. So I had to make a decision to not go around them anymore.
Right.
And it was very painful because I always wondered how they were. And I
Right.
saw the young girl, she noticed me, she had saw me, and she walks up to me, Tony, Mr. Tony, Mr. Tony. And I'm looking at her like, who's this? Like, and my girlfriend's looking at me like,
Right.
I was like,
What's this
I don't
about?
know. Yeah. And so she's looking at me like I done done something. I'm looking at her like, oh no, 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 no. Please don't do that.
Right.
That this is not right. Don't do that. You're gonna get me a bunch of trouble. And she
Right.
goes, no, I used to know your son, Jake.
Mm.
And when she said that, I looked at her. I said, Maria? She goes,
Right.
yeah. I said, oh my God. And I looked at my girlfriend. I said, this was my son's friend when he was a kid.
Right.
And she goes, I'm just telling you something. And she pulled this thing out. She carries it around with her all the time. He had made this little stick figure out of the little yarn and everything and gave it to her as a present
And she still had it.
2 days before he got sick. And
Mm.
she is 19 years old. She
Unforgettable.
still has it in her pocket. And
Yeah.
that let me know, like, the life that we live and the
Right.
things that we do, right?
Right.
will determine how people see us.
Right.
It's what we leave behind, not what we carry with us.
And you know what, Tony? That's what the pastor said in my son's memorial service. He said, although Maurice and Reggie passed at 8 years old, it's not the duration of their lives, it's the donation of their lives, what they left
The
behind.
quality, yeah, the quality.
Quality, the relationships, the friendships, the love
Hmm.
that, and you know what? Love never dies.
No, it
You
doesn't.
know, love never dies. So
And
even
grief doesn't either. Grief doesn't die. It just changes as we grow, right? And
right,
and it doesn't. I tell people all the time. Look, I've been on a healing journey, but also um, a relationship, a connection building journey as I begin to get older and things like that. I know that my eyes are fixated on what I need to do, right?
right,
To live within my gift in its totality,
right,
right? And the more and more I keep doing that, the more and more I realize that um, we will forever be grieving,
right.
forever. It's not going to change. I mean,
Yeah.
let me correct that. It will change,
Evolve.
but it will evolve with you
Hmm.
and give you whatever you need at that stage of your development,
Right,
right? And there's going to be times where it may not be as frequent as it used to be, but you still have those times during anniversaries or holidays,
yes, yes. Or
or
just
being
sharing
reminded.
testimony, like right now,
Right, right.
just,
Like, and I often sit back and I go, that makes sense.
right,
I have every right to be grateful for this journey, although it may seem sad to you or it
right,
may seem sad to other people. I appreciate it because of what it's been given me.
right,
And I can't deny that, right?
right,
And so, and to be able to do the things that we do today, right?
right.
I often say, if I had the chance to do it over again, would I?
That's a hard question.
It's a hard, very, very hard question because the sacrifice, the pain, and
Right,
everything that had to be endured in order to get here.
right.
But now here's something. Now, and I want to get your thoughts and your opinions on this. We look at our past now, and we say that we wouldn't change a thing.
Mm, really?
But if asked the correct question, like would you do it again? Think about that for a minute. Think about both of those questions, real, and tell me what your thoughts and your opinions on it. Because think about it, right? We have said this before. Like I'm thankful for the path that I've been on because it's allowed me to do this. Okay,
Right.
then would you do it again?
And still have my son here? Uh,
Mm-mm. You would have to do it again. You would have to do it again. Same sort of situation, but the feeling of deja vu is there.
mm, I'm
Would you? Okay, okay. Better question. This is knowing everything that you've had to go through. Would you do it again the same exact way if it gave you the same results that you have today?
would I do it again? And I would say yes because because of the love that I have received from the people that my testimony has blessed, and it's
Mm-hmm.
helped them with their grief, and
Mm-hmm.
God transitioned me from military to ministry to help other people with their struggle with grief, and that's what I and even though I did
It's a
experience,
it's a hard question to answer, right?
yes, yes,
Because it's like deep down inside, would I trade my gift for my son? Would I trade my gift for my parents and my younger brother? Would I trade my gift from everybody that I've ever loved and have passed away?
mm,
Would I trade my gift for the over 20 times I've been homeless?
Mm.
Would I trade my gift for the times that, you know what I'm saying, when I was an alcoholic?
Wow, Tony, that's a lot to
Right?
trade.
Because that's what you're doing. Because anything, if you say anything other than yes, I would repeat that, you got to remember that one little tweak changes everything.
Everything.
Because
Every, the good,
without
the
the
bad, and
path,
the
the
ugly.
good, the bad, and the ugly, now anything that had changed that path along the way, I wouldn't be here. It would
Mm.
change everything that I'd be doing right now.
And it could be worse, could be
And I
better.
wouldn't know you. I wouldn't know the people.
Right.
I wouldn't be
All
on this path.
all the men that you have helped with their grieving process, that's why I say the
Exactly.
love, and you changed their lives forever. Just be able to accept and to
Hmm.
deal with grief and not go down that suicidal or alcoholic road that a lot of people spiral down and never come back.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like nothing was ever wasted.
Right. Nothing's
But you
ever.
would have to repeat it just the way that you were. Just the way that you did. You would have to stumble through it. You would have to fill it all. You have to be confused. You would have to go through everything that you've gone through in order to get there. But now the caveat is that when you get to the point to where you're starting to evolve, God gives you a boost. But you don't know that it's a boost
No.
because you've just endured everything else.
Wow. That's heavy.
That's very heavy, right? And that's why I posed the question to myself, like if I had to do it again, would I?
Wow.
Would I give up? Would I give up the feeling of being a father,
Mm.
the feeling of curiosity and excitement to watching him grow?
Wow.
Would I
Yeah.
give that up
That's what I was
in
saying. That.
order to have the experience to watch him grow up?
Mm. I know. While you watching other children grow up,
Right, right.
like
It's
his second grade sweetheart,
yeah,
Maria.
yeah, and it's like, wow, man, these are questions because you managed to do something with yours that I think is very spectacular. Talk about the books that you did.
Wow. Okay, so I am writing my son's memorial program.
Hmm.
And and God says to me, Angela, their letters were written to soothe your soul, but more importantly to share. I was like,
Hmm.
what? No, what are you talking about? So this is when the arguments began. I was like, oh no, God, because God would give me a glimpse of me speaking in churches, retreats, conferences,
Different things.
different
Yeah.
things, and that scared me because, like I shared
Mm.
earlier, I'm the quiet one. And so I'm arguing with God. I'm saying, no, that's not going to happen. I said, I don't mind sharing their letters with my friends and family in the house, but as far as what you're talking about, God, you don't know me like that.
Ooh, look at you, sassy, sassy, savvy. She's like, you don't know me like that. Like,
Have you ever told God what you're not gonna do? Have you ever told God what you're not gonna do?
yeah, yeah. Hey, don't feel bad. I've done that too.
No.
Do you think I haven't? Oh, girl, mm-mm.
I said,
I'm telling you, God looked at me and was like,
oh, sis, I got you.
Really? This is
Really?
what we doing? I was like, you don't know me like that,
Exactly.
right?
I know you in your mother's womb. And then for 6 months, I walked in disobedience. But during that time, I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think straight. And a lot of it was grief, but a lot of it was walking in disobedience.
Mm,
And finally, after 6 months, when I couldn't take the pain no more, I was in agony and trying to relieve some of this pressure.
mm,
Everything was is on me. And I just woke up and I said, I surrender. God, use me as you choose to. I don't know how to speak in front of people. I don't know how to write a book. I don't know how to do these things. You've planted these seeds in me. You put these visions in my dreams. I don't know how
mhm,
to execute it. But I surrender. As long as you lead me, I'll follow. And at that time, I had 15 years in the Air Force. I said, God, if you just give me the strength to put my uniform back on and to stay in the Air Force for another 5 years to get that 20, I will retire and dedicate my life to you and sharing this amazing
mhm,
testimony. So God granted me that strength while I was waiting, while I was in the military for another 5 years. I started writing my autobiography, titled "Miracles in Action: Trusting God Through Your
wow,
Storms." I have a
mhm,
workbook to help people. This is the process of turning your grief into peace, because a lot of time people will say, "Well, Angela, the first the first 2 weeks, the first month or so after somebody passed, your home is filled with people. But then after a month, people got a life. People are
I'm surprised
gone.
people got a. I'm surprised you got a month.
Well, and that's stretching.
Woo!
That's stretching it. But
Yeah, that's stretching. I was like, you got a month? What?
you
How
know,
did that happen?
mother came. Mother,
Yeah, like, can we talk about how you got a month? Shoot.
that was that was my mother, and
Ooh.
my mother-in-law, my mom, and so, but then after that, then what? Then that's when that grieving process, that loneliness sets in. Like, what happens is,
Mm.
so this my workbook talks about the process of turning that grief into peace, and then I was sharing my testimony at a conference, and there was a producer, and he said, "Andrew, I'd love to turn your story into a documentary film," and so that's how this came
I
about.
love that. Yeah, I remember you. I remember that. Yeah,
Yes, and
I
then I
love that.
soundtrack to the documentary. So
What?
yeah, so that's how.
You didn't tell me about that one the last time that we talked. We got to talk.
Sometimes
See,
it's
this
too
the stuff I be
much.
talking about. Just surprising me like
I just
this.
showing off.
Yeah, you was like, I got this whole soundtrack. Like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, 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 okay. Touche, touche.
And then this is what I love. This is my children's book. And what I love about this, the illustrations are absolutely beautiful. And I love about this is right here. This is Maurice's letter where the children, for children you have to be extra. And this is Maurice's letter where they actually can hold it in their hands and read it right there. So that's Maurice's letter. And then this is Reggie's letter right here that he did
Okay,
2 weeks
I love
before
that.
he passed.
Yeah, I
So
love that. I love that.
then the last thing I just came out just recently. Um, no, shoot, I can't find. Oh, this is a sample. This is my coloring book. Because when
Okay,
people are grieving, sometimes they just need activities to help them through that process. So I have a coloring book to my children's book. That's
okay.
coming out right now. So yeah, so this is my journey. This is how I got here, and this is my path, and this is my future. I just said, God, you lead me, I'll follow, and this is the path that God has me on, helping other people turn their grief into peace.
All right. So now I got to ask the question, right?
Hmm.
Because 2025 for a lot of people
Yes.
tested them. It tested us to no end.
Yes.
Tested us to no end. That our world has experienced something that it has never experienced before,
Right.
and I don't think people really understand the depth of the healing that needs to happen. Right. Um, so going into 2026, what is your heart and your mind and your spirit excited for in
It-
your journey, not in your journey that you've been walking? What are you excited for 2026?
let me just back up. In 2020, November 2024, my mother passed. And so, like
Hmm.
all last year, 2025, I really didn't do too much of my ministry because when you're talking about grief and going through grief at the same time,
Hmm. It's hard.
it's
It's
triggered.
definitely hard. It's triggering. Yeah.
Triggering. And so I was grieving my mother. And so I really took a year off from my ministry just to get me right. Because I didn't just want to be
Mhm.
on stage, boohoo and ball it.
Right.
So now that it's 2026, I'm excited for what God has in store for me. So I'm looking for those doors to open. But unfortunately, a lot of my speaking engagement came from referrals. And so
Mhm.
since I've been off the stage, I have to rebuild those relationships back up again. So I'm excited to see how all this is gonna, like, I'm almost starting all over again. So if you have a church, a retreat, a conference, a book club that would like to hear this absolutely fascinating supernatural testimony from the living God we serve, holla at your girl. I'm coming.
Well, you already know we talked about the Global Grief Conference, this year and everything, and the direction that that's starting to go in. So the platforms and the opportunities are there.
Yeah,
So there's no starting over. It's just starting from that point where you
yeah,
stopped at,
yeah.
right? You know what
I
I'm
know.
saying? So we got to be careful about that because we
Words are
cut
powerful.
we yeah we the words are very, very powerful, and you built a solid platform to where you could stand
Right,
up on. And
right.
so don't be careful to not have to go and backtrack and have to rebuild it all over again, because that can get very tiring, right?
Yeah,
You put in all that work, you didn't sacrifice your emotions and
right.
everything else, in order to go backwards. No, we going forward because
Or
2026 is calling us to be on the front lines, and that's what we need to do. We just up there in a different way. We're not wielding weapons or anything like that, but we got strong tools, resources, and a community that
right,
really cares about the people that we serve, right?
exactly.
And
Yeah,
that community is still growing. It is growing so fast the last few years.
right,
It's
right.
scary. It's
I know with
scary.
AI, you don't know who you're
Yeah,
talking.
and then with AI, look, I'm not gonna say nothing because I play around with AI too, but not in the way that people think. I do
Yes,
animation on AI,
but you
right?
know what? AI is not going to take away the grief. You still going
No,
to
it's
need.
not gonna take it away.
Yes,
It's
you
not gonna
still
take it away,
need
right?
us to
But
help
I
them
think
feel
it's
that
a great tool
our
for us to be able
services.
to do what we do.
Yeah, our
Yeah,
services are still needed, no matter what technology does. People still need
that's
to
very true.
get through those feelings, human
Hmm.
feelings, that because the death of your loved one is not an easy task to just get over.
It's
You
not
know,
supposed to be. That's
yeah,
look.
it's
That's the whole thing. It's not supposed to be an easy thing to get over, right?
exactly.
Because
Love
if
never
we was
dies.
vulnerable, there you go. Love never dies, right? But in let's just say we was vulnerable enough to allow these individuals to come in. We trusted them enough to be, what I'm saying, to come into our world, and they was kind enough. So they were kind enough to love us where we were,
Right, right,
right,
right.
and to share their time with us. That's a precious thing because you can't get that back. They
Mm-hmm.
chose us to carry to walk with them,
Right. Yes.
right?
Yeah,
And nothing can never change that. They
nothing.
chose us to walk with them
Yes, they did.
because they realized what we gave them when before they passed away. We gave them a sense of comfort, a sense of being heard, seen, and validated, but most
Right,
importantly, love.
right.
Right?
Whew.
It's see what I mean? The price that we paid for this. And
Mm.
that's why I asked the question: if you had to do it all over again, would you?
Just, whew.
Because the depthness of that right there, it was worth it.
Right, right.
And
To
then I would do it all over again.
Yeah, yeah. To be on that
I
stage and help
would.
people with their grief, that's my assignment.
Uh-huh.
That's my
Uh-huh.
and it's a tough assignment. It's a really tough assignment, but here I am. God gave me the tools. God gave me, Maurice and Reggie to be able to understand on a little bit. I will never fully understand what somebody's going through because each relationship is different. Even though my husband and I were grieving the same children, his grief journey was different from mine.
Uh-huh. Way different.
And mine was different from his. He was in
Hmm.
that car when it went 25 feet over the highway.
Exactly.
So he felt a whole level of grief, of guilt that
I
I
was
didn't
gonna say.
experience.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so what we do now is just really helping people turn their grief into peace. And I wouldn't trade it. This is my journey. This is my
There you
journey.
go. This is my journey, and I realized that what life has given me and what it has replaced it with, I it is giving me a sense of responsibility because I am now the oldest and the last of my bloodline.
Okay.
When I
Make
when I'm yeah, when I am gone, there's no one else.
Wow.
There's
Yes.
no one else to carry on my name.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's giving me the gift of importance. It's giving me the gift of understanding what a true legacy is. And
Yes.
it's giving me the understanding of what I leave behind for others to benefit from. And
Right.
that is my sacrifice to the community, to our not just our communities, but to our colleagues and things like that, because what we built can't be taken away.
Right.
It cannot be taken away because it was built out of love.
Right.
It was built out of selflessness. It
Mm.
was built out of sacrifice.
Woo.
And it was built out of trust, faith, and obedience.
Sweat, blood, and tears.
Sweat, blood, and tears right there, right? So now with that being said, I have a couple more questions for you, Miss Angela. One question would be, how can people find you?
People can find me on my website at miraclesinaction.com. Miracles in action, INACTION, miraclesinaction.com. So that's where you can
Mhm.
find me. Yes.
All right. Now, where can people find your books?
On my website.
On your website? All right. And you did send that over there to me. So, guys, go there, check her out, grab those books. But most importantly, go to her lessons as well. Are you on social media? You're on social media, right? Facebook, Instagram,
Yes.
LinkedIn, and all the stuff like that. And it's the same. What are your handles for that?
Oh my goodness. Actually,
I understand. She said, "Oh my goodness, you can't be doing me like that, Tony."
I know, because I'm gonna leave out a dot or a dash or something. You know?
These things do happen. These things do happen. I promise you.
Yeah, but well, Miracles in Action. But on Facebook, I'm under my name was Angela Tays,
Mhm.
Tayes, Angela Tays Alexander. That's my
Oh,
Facebook name. Yeah. So
okay.
yeah, come friend me and like me, and I'll friend and like you back. So good.
I like that. I like that. One more question for you. If Miss Angela had a superpower, what would it be?
Wow. I would just a superpower. I would just a lot. I meet so many people that remain in their grief, and I just want people to know that the healing of your broken heart is not an indication that you no longer love or miss your loved one. And that's
Mm,
and because a lot of people they remain in their grief because they think, oh, if I'm happy and joyful, then that means I'm over. And I just want people to know that you being happy is not an indication that you no longer love or miss your loved one. So it's okay.
exactly.
Your loved ones are happy. Trust me, they are joyfully jamming with Jesus. They don't want you to be here miserable. So live your life, and that would be a great honor to your loved ones who passed on if you just live your life joyfully.
Awesome, awesome. Now do me one huge favor, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
let you come on the screen to do this, but do me a favor. Um, take us out with something, right?
Mhm.
And make sure you let people know the podcast that's doing out here doing the most for people out here. All right. All
Yeah.
right. So I'm gonna leave you up on the screen. You go ahead and do your thing. I'll see you guys here in the next episode.
Yes. Well, I leave with you the message of you can search for your miracles or you can search for your misery. The choice is yours. But remember, whatever you want wants you. And to seek, speak, and search. Seek God first, speak life over yourself, and search for your miracles even in the midst of your storms. This is Angela Alexander signing off. Thank you, Tony.
All right.